Hey, quarantine-free day is we're releasing travelers and passengers who had been in quarantine for 14 days. And so Rebecca Respicio of the administration has been kind of the point handling that. And so we're going to bring her on here. Morning, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hey, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So maybe you could just tell us what's on your plate this morning and what's been happening with moving people out of quarantine.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically this morning we are proud to say that we released 80 from the Pacific Star facility and then 44 from the second facility. And they were all happy to leave.
I can imagine.
They also, yeah. It really was a turn around of attitude and feeling and just finally understanding the importance of these quarantine facilities. And so, they left with a smile. They received their clearances from public health that they finished their 14-day quarantine process. And everything went really smooth this morning. We began at 5 in the morning, sending them home.
Are they their local residents that were on quarantine that were returning?
Yeah,
okay.
For the most part, yeah. They're going home. They're happy.
Going home to some good old kadu.
Beef stew. Yeah.
And their families, most importantly. Yeah.
And back into, basically, you could say quarantine.
Yeah, it's like you're leaving.
Yeah, we did. We left them, and we asked them to please continue their practices with social distancing, and also to, don't forget to just wash your hands frequently. So the same messages, and we continue to ask them to, just take care and be safe, and just remember that they weren't here for a reason that is just going to, basically if they don't continue their practices, then they just, put themselves at risk. And why would they spend 14 days and go out and do that, right?
Yep.
So
right.
They all walked away committed to staying safe and teaching some of the things that they learned in here to their family.
Hey, Rebecca, so last night we got a video from someone who was quarantined there at the Pacific Star, and they shot a video of some new passengers, arriving buses at the Pac Star. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so as you know, the governor's new order requires that all flights go through the 14-day mandatory quarantine. So we do get flights still from Honolulu and Narita on a nightly basis. We haven't been getting flights from anywhere else, but they are very few, and the planes aren't full anymore. People are starting to take this very seriously, and they don't want to risk themselves in travel. But all of our guests, I'm happy to say that when they do arrive, they are fully aware of the process that has to take place, and we've had nobody angry, unlike in the beginning. So I think the realities of how it's hitting Guam and what it's, how it's affecting our island and our people are really humbling everybody, and they know that we're just in this together, and that is a process that's necessary for the safety of everyone.
Hey, Rebecca, so when they first rolled out the quarantine procedures, I believe we saw an exception for people with significant ties to the community. Are we still allowing for that exception?
No, that was previously during when it was only the Philippine flights that were mandatory, and then all other flights they could self-quarantine at home. But now with the governor's order, it's all flights. All flights are mandatory, so it doesn't matter if they come from anywhere, it's going to be mandatory.
Wow. Yeah. Resident or non-resident, doesn't matter.
That's correct.
What about the flight crew? I know people have been asking about that. Are they subject to the quarantine?
I have not. We haven't received any of the flight crew,
okay, so
and I'm hearing the same thing from the passengers, that the flight crew has told them on the flight that they were exempted from that. So I'm really not sure of how they're handling that. But I know we're not getting them, the flight crew. I don't know if they're quarantining in another hotel or whether or not they're just turning around. Yeah.
So how many people are we looking at that's going to be on corn-free?
I'm sorry?
How many passengers?
She's trying to make that a thing, quarantine-free.
Yeah. Quarantine-free, I love that. I could tell them that when we release more tomorrow morning. But so again, we 80 left one facility and 44 left the second facility.
Okay, and so that's it for today, as far as you know.
Okay. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
And the three that tested positive, are they still there at?
Isolated? No, well, I don't
Isolated,
think
or-
they're there. I think they're. Yeah. Wait, are they there?
Well, that's
or-
just that's what I'm trying to ask.
Sorry.
No, so I think you're fully aware that we do have an isolation facility. Yeah, so
The one at Days Inn.
everybody here is safe. And, although I can't comment on anything medical because of, confidentiality, I'm just happy that everybody here is starting to fully understand the importance of this process and just how keeping themselves safe. And it's very risky to travel now. So the whole world, the whole nation is in this together. And so Guam is not exempt from what's happening in the world. And they're just understanding that they can be safe. And though all the 14 days is hard, oh my gosh, it was hard, especially in the first week. But people have just had a 180, and especially when Guam experienced the first death from this virus, people just changed. The guests that were here in our facility, they just really, it became so real, and the attitudes were changing, and the anger was disappearing, and they were fully, they started to be more cooperative. We had people that were just like, gosh, I'm kind of scared to go home now. I feel safe here. And although they wanted to go home, they missed their pets and their family and their children. But they realized the importance of this process.
Hey, Rebecca, are you involved at all with the process of moving the sailors down to Tumon quarantine?
So the only involvement that I had was just to share our best practices because, nobody's an expert at this. But because the government's been doing it already for a full 2 weeks, it doesn't make us an expert, but I was able to share with some of the military personnel that are going to be overseeing the same processes that we are doing. So we definitely are collaborating, and we are helping to share what's working with our quarantines and just kind of help them, get a step in the right direction, I guess you could say.
Right. So, Rebecca, the way it looks in your conversations with these military people who are going to be overseeing the quarantine, is it basically going to be self-contained in terms of, minus the hotel staff? It's going to be the military. Are they going to be just policing their own? Or they're providing their own security? Are we using any local resources? Do you know?
No, I don't have the 100% details on the back side of it. Just that I was asked to just share whatever I've learned so far in our processing and just what's going to make it easier for those that are quarantined. As for the details on where the resources are going to come from, I'm not aware of the details on that.
There was something Admiral Manoni mentioned during the press briefing at Adaloop yesterday, and the question was asked by one of the reporters, how many to a room, and he said they're looking at two. Is that something, I guess, based on your experience?
Well, for here, how we do it is like obviously some people would feel like if they're going to be quarantined, they would be individually. But for here, because we have families that travel together, they've been rooming together, they arrive together, so they fly together, they arrive together. So when they do arrive, we do consider them a family, and they actually are okay to stay in one room. And we also do offer, especially if it's a larger family, we definitely don't go over the max that a hotel room would hold, and we do offer them separate rooms, it's safer, but also the family has been tied and they have been traveling together. So they come here together. They would have gone home together, but again, who's to say that they would have stayed home together? So, that's how we handle it here. If they do prefer a separate room for whatever reason, they would share. Either they have other medical, or some people came back from the Philippines from medical procedures.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they kind of do need that space in order for them to heal at the same time that they are being quarantined, and we respect that. And again, our priority is really just the health and safety of everybody in here, while also recognizing that they are contributing to the health and safety of the public outside of the quarantine facilities.
All right, thanks, Rebecca. Rebecca, what's you're the quarantine coordinator? What?
Gosh, let's just
just make something up.
Call me whatever you want as long as it's nice. No, just kidding. So yeah, basically, I've been tasked to oversee the operations of the quarantine facilities.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask the chief of staff what's my official title.
Right.
Title.
Do you find out if it comes with a little bump in pay?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
It's never about. Honestly, I mean, at first it felt honestly a little overwhelming because nobody really knew what had to be done.
Yeah.
Right.
But we just knew that we were in it together, and the most important part is I always remember that the safety of those that come in here definitely equal to the safety of those out there, and that's our mission, and that's the most important thing. And everybody's on board. I mean, it's hard, 14 days, you know, especially
Yeah.
after you travel, then you have to come. So we welcome them and we say, you know, you now have an extended staycation, and how, you know, I mean, it's beautiful here. So they have their balconies, and the hotel management has just been excellent and really accommodating and trying to do the best. So
All right.
it's been an experience, but it's all worth it. That's all I'm going to say. It's really worth it.
Definitely one for the books, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for what you're
And
doing.
thank you for what you guys are doing too.
Thank you, and
Thanks.
wash your hands, okay?
Always.
Okay.
Always.
Stay safe.
Thank you guys. Okay, you too.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
She's kind of running the quarantine end for the government of Guam, Rebecca Respicio. 905 or KUAM FM. Haggatnya, it's containing COVID, the KUAM News takeover of Guam's favorite Good Morning.